This video was sponsored by Gweike Cloud. What I've been using up until now is the boundary supply Wren and Sling, which is really quite awesome. You can strap it and, open it up. You can grab stuff while you're working, so to say. Quickly put it back in there. So a little while ago I fell into this habit of watching EDC videos on YouTube, which is really quite fun. It's quite a time sink as well. There's just these people talking about the tools that they use. But when I was watching these videos, I came across this product called the Wera Tool-Check Plus. And what I really like about the Wera Tool-Check Plus is that all of the stuff is in the proper spot, right? You have a screwdriver that's actually in a screwdriver spot. It can't be anywhere else. Whereas in a bag, it shuffles around all the time. Which is a benefit of a bag, because if you get a new EDC tool or you get a new wrench or something, you just plonk it in there and it's fine. Whereas if you build something that's physical and the thing that we're building in this video, that's kind of a downside to it. After a little while I wanted to buy the Wera Tool-Check Plus, but I came to the conclusion that most of the tools I use most often are already in there, and I thought it would be way cooler if we built something ourselves and also incorporate this peak design capture clip, which is usually for camera gear, but it would be really useful if we can clip it on and off ourselves really quickly. So somewhat also I used this project as an excuse to buy some new EDC tools and fill up my kit, so to say, because it was kind of lacking. And this is the Wera 838 ratcheting screwdriver. I did a lot of research, and apparently the big benefit of this one is that you can ratchet it in that direction, and that's also the direction you're now screwing in the bolt or the screw or whatever, So for this project I'm doing pretty much exactly the same as I'm doing most projects. I take it to the 3D scanning station, and in this case it was doing totally fine except for the reflective part at the bottom over there. And the 3D scanner just allows us to convert it into a 3D model, so to say, which is one-to-one. So for this one the integration is kind of simple. I just want it to drop into place, and then maybe with a magnet hold it in place a little bit better. But I basically used a sketch layer, created a circle which is the exact diameter of the bit holder, and a chamfer with a round over at the edge over there really helps it just fall in from most angles, I'd say. So next up is the Knipex. This is the 125mm version. There's also a smaller version which is 100mm, and that's considered more of the EDC version. This one's quite nice because it has the button on there, so you can... But I specifically got this one because I can remember as a child I was working in my granddad's workshop all the time, and he had one of those larger ones from Knipex as well. And I always gravitated towards that one because it was so good for the, the random stuff that I was building at that time. I was like, I don't know, 12 or something. So the sponsor of this video is Gweike Cloud. They sent over the G2 PRO fiber laser, which I've been using to engrave the dates that I got the tools on the tools themselves, which kind of voids their warranty. It's not really the best method for doing this, but then at least in a couple of years if they break or something, I know how long the tool lasted and if I should buy from that brand again, so to say. The G2 PRO actually falls under a portable fiber laser category, and it's really fast. It's 15,000 millimeters per second, I believe it can engrave on. Now throughout the project I've kind of hidden the laser source because that thing makes quite a lot of noise, and I wanted to record the sound of the actual laser, engraving on the metals and that kind of stuff, because that sounds really awesome. And this one is the electric lift version with the 150mm base. So, you can press the up and down buttons to raise and lower it, and use that to kind of focus the laser on the surface that you want to engrave. But you can also handhold it with that electric lift, or you can take the electric lift off and put the shield on there, which I do recommend because it is quite dangerous to, you need to wear safety glasses with this thing. But the shield is actually at the correct height, so if you just plonk that on a surface, then it's focused essentially. But we're not really checking that out in this video. Maybe that's something for our next one. If you want to see it more often, then let me know in the comment section as well. Definitely check them out. I left the link in the description down below, and also a coupon code. So if you were planning on buying one of these machines, then you can type in FLATLANDER to get $200 off your order. I went through the same process with the Knipex wrench by taking it to the 3D scanner, and I was quite surprised that it was actually scanning this thing because it's quite reflective. But as soon as I had that in the CAD software, I used the spline tool. I just outlined the bottom section of it because I wanted to be at the top of this case thing, so to say, so you can easily grab it with one hand. I closed it all off and then unified the two layers together. After that, I sketched out some 10mm holes at the front section where, you have exposed metal, and subtracted that from the design. And it's mainly for the magnets, so I ordered a set of 50 magnets off of Amazon, I believe. They're quite strong. I used them on the 3D printed drill project as well to hold the bit storage in place. And initially I thought I was going to use these for the bit storage on this device as well. So I did test out what the best method is for holding the bits in place, but that was for a prior project which I didn't upload. And I found that chamfering it and then branding over the inside was the best method, where if you just chuck a bit in a general direction, it usually finds itself way in its proper position, so to say. And I bought myself a Zippo lighter, mainly because, when I'm doing 3D print projects and that kind of stuff, it's made of plastic, right? Sometimes it's very useful to have a lighter to heat up little bolts, for example, to just like press them into place, or maybe you're burning something on the 3D print itself. And in general, it's just really useful to have a lighter. But I wasn't too impressed with the Zippo quality, to be honest, because I thought it was very strong and very durable. And it feels really cheap and, fragile for some reason. And for this one, the holder is pretty simple. I just, I outlined it, I created a little gap for it, and then added an extra gap in the inside so that when you press on it, it kind of snaps outwards and then you can grab it. With this one, I actually did a double check. So one of them is, laying flat, and the other one is laying on the side. So if we need to save space somehow, we can choose between the two. There's definitely also some tools that I already had, like the caliper from my great granddad that I wanted to implement in the same way as the Knipex wrench. So from the top, just sliding it into the proper position, and then the magnets holding it in place. Went about it in the same way as well, just outlined it with the pen tool or the line tool and the spline tool in Shaper 3D. And then, extruded everything and made kind of a holder for it. If you're enjoying the video so far, by the way, you can definitely hit the subscribe button or leave a like or a comment. I think a comment helps the most. I want to give a special thanks to the Patreon supporters who have supported me on Patreon. Your support goes a really long way in doing these projects, let's say. If you'd like to download the files, the SVG files, the scan files, the Shaper 3D files of this stuff, and print it for yourself, you can do that over there. So for some of the tools like the Zippo lighter, the Knipex wrench, and the caliper, I did pre-check them. So I printed out just the holders and then checked if they would be held in place properly and what it would be like to actually get them out and that kind of stuff. And then based on that feedback, I adjusted the design for the final version. A couple of years ago, I bought these AceBeam EC65 flashlights. They're really quite awesome. They run on 18650 batteries, which is quite nice for me because the batteries will eventually die, of course, and if you can't replace them, then that's a bit of an issue. It actually comes in two variants, so one of them has a frosted lens and the other one a clear lens, and the clear lens version is 4000 lumens. The frosted lens version is 2000, but the color accuracy of the frosted one is a lot higher, so it's 96 CRI, and that's very important for if you're doing video work or photography work, because then you get all the colors over there, right? But the integration for this one's really quite simple. Just imported the 3D scan and created a circle for it. Couldn't do magnets this time around because I think the casing is aluminum, so it just clips on with the little clip at the side. I left the bottom open so that when you turn on the light, it doesn't melt the plastic and you can still use it while you have it clipped onto your Peak Design capture clip, right? So that, it still shines through. So the last one was the Swiss Champ. I've had this one for a number of years. This was something my granddad bought me for my birthday, I think 15 years ago. I can't quite remember, but I'm not going to engrave the date on this one because I'm not sure when I got it. I usually use this one for 3D print projects where the little pliers are really useful for getting rid of the support structures for the 3D prints, and opening boxes, opening packages, that kind of thing. Just general use cases. The integration for it was very similar to the Zippo lighter, where I thought I would press in on it and then it would snap upwards and then grab it. But that kind of changed for the final design. So as soon as it came to the final design, I just had to sit down with the iPad and I combined all of those components into one thing and then kind of unified that whole casing. Came up with a barrel design so that you could spin it and go to the correct bits and then grab those, which I think in the end was kind of a mistake because that took up quite a lot of room, so to say. But when I pulled all of those parts off the printer and, you know, removed all the support structures, I really came to realize how large this entire thing was actually. You know, in the CAD program, I didn't really realize how big it was going to be. So the first thing I really put together was that internal bit holder, which is 8 times 8, so that's 64 bits that it can hold, which is quite a lot, to be quite honest with you. But, you know, it's quite huge, and it has bearings on the inside that actually make it run smooth. Not sure if it actually needs that, but I thought it was funny. And it's quite weighty as well, like with those 50 by 10mm magnets in there, and all of the bits in place, it's quite a hefty thing. I wasn't able to fill it completely up because I don't have enough bits and I don't have enough magnets to do that, but it gave a good indication for if this would function or not. And you just drop it into place, you screw down all of the stuff, and then I started putting in the magnets for all of the other components as well. One of them was really awful, like the Swiss Champ holder. Just couldn't get all of the magnets in there because they kept snapping off and it kept like... So yeah, I need to fix that somehow to where the magnets come from the other side and you can hold them in place with a little plate. So I think the only thing that we really have to do to make this a fully successful project is get rid of this rotating bit storage, convert that into flat storage, and then squeeze down the back so that when we hang it down, then it actually stays in this spot, so to say. So even though I like it quite a lot, like the look of it is just really awesome, but it's just not functional from like a space-saving perspective. And if we get rid of that, it saves so much room. You know, having that muscle memory of being able to grab stuff really easily. Also, for the next iteration, I would like to improve the Knipex holder because currently it takes 2 steps to take out. And it is quite secure in there, but it would be nice if that was a single step, right? And the Wera ratcheting screwdriver has a magnet in there which is a little bit stronger than the magnets in here, so you can actually grab one. And you have it upside down here. You can just one-handedly switch that around. So you have a one-handed tool change over there. And you can easily put it back in its spot. Put the ratcheting screwdriver down. The Zippo lighter is also a bit high, and that's mainly because, you know, this point is quite sharp. So that's why I put it over there, but if it's a little bit lower, that should be quite cool as well. I'm quite chuffed with this holder though. That's just in there really nice. If you enjoyed this video, you might also enjoy the film-friendly drill project that I did last week or the week before. So definitely check that out.